Hi everyone and welcome for this tutorial. If you are a beginner, it will be perfect for you because I'm going to show you how to paint easily a Stormcast from the box Dominion. If you have more skill, I'm going to prepare a video to show you how to improve the level of these miniatures, and this video will be exclusive to my boss on Patreon. Don't hesitate to come and support me on Patreon. Don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel, to like, that will be very helpful for me, and to ask in the comments if you have any question or any suggestion for my channel. Let's go for the paint! So for this painting, for this Stormcast Eternal Vindictor, I'm going to use a lot of different colors, as you can see, and it's going to take me around 1 hour in real time, and it will be really easy to down. Even if you are a beginner, it's possible to do that kind of stuff. I try to show you on every step how many time it's really take me. It's just for your information. Don't hesitate to take your time. The most important is to take pleasure to paint. On a white primer from Army Painter, I'm going to put my skeleton horde from Contrast by Games Workshop, just to have a very simple color. Take care when you want something easy to paint to have not necessarily very contrasted color. As you can see, the most important for me is going to be the white armor, and after that the all color around don't need necessarily to keep the attention, so I try to make something very simple. So as you can see, with some reinforced steel from Games Workshop, it's take me around 6 minutes. I put this basic color on all my metallic parts, and now with some green Taffer, I'm going to apply this paint on all the laser part to have a very strong and dark laser everywhere. It's take me around 4 minutes because I take care with when I apply the contrast to focus and to be sure to reach only the surfaces I need, because it's pretty complicated to remove the contrast, so I take my time. So now with some corn red again, I'm going to make the same on the shoulder and on some few parts, just to have some hot color on some few parts. It's take me 7 minutes, but I think if I use some Mephisto red from Contrast, or Blood Angel red from Contrast more exactly, it will take me an half time, so don't hesitate to use it if you want. Now with some Ariman blue, I just put this on the blade to have some point of blue in answer to my red color. I will release pretty soon tutorial for all my boss on Patreon to show how to decide what kind of color you need to use on the miniatures. So quick tips to fix my blade, because I have some few things on. I just come back with an X-Acto and I just clean up my faces before I come back with some blue. Don't hesitate to remove the imperfection on this kind of surfaces, because it's going to be very helpful to have very clean surfaces to paint this kind of blade. And now you can see it's take me 25 minutes to base my miniatures. It's ready for playing if you want, but we are going to take a look how to improve a little bit just by adding a little bit more shadow and light on some few parts. If you want, you can always subscribe to my Patreon to see how I push again the level, and I'm going to showing you at the end of this tutorial the next level painting. So now I'm going to push more shadow by ink shading into all the metallic surfaces. I use some Space Wolf Gray to have some kind of blue into my color, but you can always use more neutral gray, like basilicum gray from Contrast, if you want something more simple. As you can see, when I use contrast, I take a lot of contrast in my brush and I just put it to be sure it's going to into the recesses. Now with some Evil Sun's red, I just pushing some highlights on the red part of my armor. I'm not going to push more highlights on this part because I want people to focus on the white part of my armor. So all around this white armor is going to be just a little bit highlight, but not too much, to be sure the attention will be on the armor. As you can see, the Evil Suns is not necessarily very covering, so we don't need to dilute a lot. We are just going to put first in the place you want the red to be the most strong, and after we are going to push this color in the other part. Now with some skeleton bone from Army Painter. Again, as you can see on my finger, I don't dilute too much, and I'm just going to push this color. As you can see, it's going to take me 7 minutes or something, like the more long part, just because this part is for me the more important, to have something pretty clean. Remember, Army Painter is not necessarily very covering color, but it's perfect to make your transition. So I'm going to tap my color on the part I want the very strong highlight, and on other part I am just going to pushing my color to this direction. And now I'm going to make a second highlight with directly white on some few parts again, and a lot of time I'm going to focus on some point and some line all around the miniatures. Take care to focus on the up part of your miniatures, because the eyes is more going to see this part than the foot, for example. So focus on the part the eyes is going to see the more. That's going to be very helpful to gain some times and some quality into your paint. You can see on different kind of surfaces how I push my color, and it will be more easy for you to apply on your own miniatures. And now I'm going to push some highlights on the metallic part. Just one highlight will be enough for this level. And for that, I'm just going to take the basic color I use at beginning, the Runefeng steel, and I am going to push it on every small surfaces where I'm going to take more light. As you can see, the more part I'm going to reach, it's the edges, because it's going to take the more light. And now the blade is going to be the more strong part, because I'm going to start by some shading to push my shadow with some Mercurage blue. I'm going to focus on the part where I'm going to take the less light. And now I'm going to use some Ahriman blue mixing with some white. I am going to push my eyeliner every edges and some surfaces. As you can see, the blade is going to take more light from one side than other, so I'm going to focus my light on the side where I'm going to take the more light. If you don't know which one is going to take the more light, just take your miniatures and put just under the light so you can see more easily which part is going to reflect the light. And now with some white I come back again, and I'm going to push again a little bit of highlight. As you can see, more I'm going to paint, more my paint will be very diluted. This part is the most difficult part, so don't hesitate to just, if you want, push highlight only on the edges and don't push the level. As you can see, take your time, and when you think it's okay, you can try it from yourself. It's pretty important to understand that I make a lot of shade because it will be more easy to have a strong white
step by step. And now, just to have better transition, I come back with some Ahriman blue, very diluted, and I make my transition by pushing my color in the different direction. Here is for this, so you can see the result after 1 hour painting. I really hope you enjoy this kind of paint and the new setup I put into my tutorial. Remember that the time I give to you about the time I take to paint is just an information. Don't try necessarily to make it quickly at beginning. Just take your time and take pleasure to paint. This is the version I do for my Patreon, so with the base you already see during this tutorial, I push again 1 more hour, so it's 2 hours in all time to create this version. I really appreciate this one because Stormcast is pretty elitist army, so it's more easy to take a little bit more time. So I clean a lot my white armor, and I push contrasts into my red, and I push a little bit of blue into my metallic.
I really hope this tutorial was pretty helpful for you. Don't hesitate to come at Thursday night. I'm going to make some painting live, and this time on some orc from the Kill Team box. And see you soon for the next tutorial. Bye bye!